and welcome to the podcast, Appetite for Distortion. It is Brando, episode 208.
Wow.
Still on this Feel My Quarantine sub-series. And I will say, Carla, I was given a constructive criticism by one of my younger brothers who has been following me along just since he was my brother, or whatever I've done in radio. And it's weird. None of my younger brothers are real, like Guns N' Roses. They like Guns N' Roses, but they're not like me. And they still listen to the podcast. They still find it entertaining, which I guess is good. So obviously it's not just for positive. It's not just like they're blowing smoke. They give me criticism. So I'm actually doing what I was advised not to do. And that's waste time at the beginning of the episode. So
I'm like, where are you going with this? Where are you going?
Because when we first had you on, Carla, or I should say, no, you were you first came on when my former co-host, current friend, still Ian Scotto, they started this podcast, episode I think 14. So nearly.
Oh wow.
3.5.
Almost a couple hundred episodes again.
Yeah,
wait.
Like 4 years ago, maybe, and this was in.
Has it been that long? Really?
I can't believe it. It's very strange, and I just told you off the air. I'm going to say it again now. I thank you because you were one of the first celebrities, if I can use that word, rock stars, first big names to get on the show that I felt, some validity to some, couple yokels talking about Guns N' Roses. So that was a great experience early on. That's kind of propelled me to get to this point. So,
well, you had me at Guns N' Roses. Anytime anyone wants to talk about Guns N' Roses, I'm like, what was that? I'm here. Hello.
I know that was so cool. I actually posted. I should get it up right now. The tweet. Because it wasn't even just like, didn't need to sell you as a Guns N' Roses fan. You sell yourself as a GnR fan, in addition to obviously Butcher Babies and everything else that you do in your own brand. But I love that you're a fan as well.
In fact, if you look behind me here in my office, I have this poster, and it's actually signed by Robert Williams. It is a limited edition print. So when I moved to LA because of Guns N' Roses, because I wanted to be a rock star when I was 20 years old, and I had no money, but I scraped up all my pennies to buy this from a rock art gallery that was there because it was the original album artwork signed by Robert Williams, and it has a little gold stamp on it, and it's Appetite for Destruction is written in pencil by him at the bottom of it. And I've had this with me. That was like 98 that I bought that. So wow. I've had this with me in my collection for a very, very long time now. It's one of my most cherished collectible things that I have. Super proud of that.
The original artwork. I mean, that's beautiful, and I love that. And I'm gonna start what may seem like you never reveal someone's age, because 1998 I think I was a freshman in high school, but I will say now you look younger than I do, which is just I don't know what I don't know. They say black don't crack. I don't know. They say a lot of things, but I'm just honestly I'm healthier now than I was in 1998, probably. but I feel lucky, and I don't mind talking about my age so much because it's a huge part of who I am, and I am proud to show. I have a lot of women that come up to me after shows and said, I had given up on life when I was in my 30s, early 40s, and you show me that you can do whatever you want to do. Doesn't matter how old you are. Doesn't matter what you're going through. I've changed my life so many times. And I think it is age is a privilege, and to be able to have lived so many lives and still be just as passionate as I was. You always think that your zest for life is going to end when you're in your early 20s, and it just keeps going and gets so much better. Life gets so much better. So I think that I'm now kind of, am pro, getting older and being okay with it. Because we're all going to do it. Of course. And I've said before, obviously, in relation to, the path that this podcast follows, GnR, when you get older, if you can't perform the same or if you don't look the same, it's like no one does. This is across the board. This is what humans do. So I don't know why that ever becomes a focus. I was saying that more as as a joke, you don't reveal a woman's age. So that was just my roundabout way of saying a compliment that you still look younger now.
In general, you shouldn't.
But it's I say that also because it's so nice to see you because I was obviously excited to talk to you a few years ago, and we've been following each other on Twitter since. But it's different. As I started this podcast, it's mainly just an audio venture, but quarantine has got us. It's like webcam is like a new. It's new. Everyone discovered it during this pandemics, but people seem to like it, and obviously, it's great to see you. And I told you this when we first signed on the Zoom. I was so taken aback by like what's in your background. So other than of course the Robert Williams poster, because I encourage people to watch this if they are listening in their usual podcast platform, because I see Butcher Baby stuff, of course. Like because it looks awesome. Like you look like you have an awesome room.
So this is my art studio. My whole room is covered in art that inspires me. And like some of my favorite artists, Robert Williams, of course, Mark Ryden. And if you guys can see over there, it's in the corner by my skeleton. My art was on the cover of Heavy Metal magazine a couple of years ago. So I've got that blown up over there. And just, I like living in a room full of stuff. Like I said, that inspires me. I've got all my collectibles in things over here. I've got more stuff over there. It's a mess in here right now because I'm packing orders. But this is almost falling off the table there. But I like to be surrounded by memories. Funny thing, I'm a grief counselor, and one of the things about people who have experienced loss when they're very young, when they've lost a parent, or they've been through their parents went through a bad divorce when they were young, these kids become collectors, which describes me to a T. My dad left us when I was very young, and I got this bug for collecting things. I didn't want to miss out on anything. I wanted to keep everything. And I guess that a lot of kids who have been through extreme losses, they're just like me. And Guns N' Roses was actually a catalyst for my collecting, because there used to be this great place in Detroit called the Gibraltar Trade Center, where you would go and buy all kinds of wacky stuff, from handmade belts to memorabilia. And there was a pair of Axl's tennis shoes sitting. This old man would sell rock memorabilia. And remember the Axl shoes?
Sure.
So they were there.
I have a pin of, actually a pin version of his shoes on my jean jacket.
Well, I had the shoes.
Because I'm so cool. Which is better, of course.
I saw the shoes and I was a kid. I must have been like 15, and I had barely any money. I had a little job shoveling shit in a pet store. And I took my paycheck and I bought those Axl shoes. And they also, the same old man had Live Like Suicide, and it was $250. And I remember seeing it there for week after week after week at the Gibraltar Trade Center. And I had to have it. And so again, I saved up my pennies and I bought it. And then when I moved to LA, stupid kid driving her car I drove my Ford Probe across the country to get to LA. And I left the record on the back of my car window. So by the time I got to LA, it was like this. But I still have the cover in a frame up there. My $250 Warped album.
What about the shoes?
The shoes I don't have anymore. I sold those a long time ago, and I think I felt kind of silly having the Axl shoes. I think someone made fun of me once years ago, but I wish I still had them. I just love having these weird, quirky things around the house that
I'm with you. That's why you're a great follow on Twitter and Instagram, because it's not just, of course, the music, you follow your career. It's like we like the same stuff, horror, and as you. And now I feel like I'm not that special, because with that Robert Williams limited edition, you see behind me, the listeners who have been watching me, I put up a new poster, because Guns N' Roses on Not in This Lifetime. Did they sell a lithograph to the show that no, that was Ace Axl. Wait, you went to the MSG show, right? So yes, that's this Duff one over my left shoulder. Did you? Because that's what Charlie went to.
I don't think I didn't go to the MSG show.
Charlie did. My mistake, Charlie Benanti.
I don't think he went to that one either.
No?
I think we saw Axl with AC/DC at MSG. Me and Charlie went to the San Diego show together. Okay. And I can't remember what other shows we went to, but that was pretty cool. Recently though, I went to go see them. I got in to the Palladium show that they did recently, and that was incredible. I'm sure you heard about it. I can't remember what it was for. It was a special event for some kind of card holders, and it was at the Palladium on Sunset Strip, which is pretty small to see Guns N' Roses in. And so one of my girlfriends and I went, and it was in the playlist. It was like one of those moments where you're like, this is my favorite song, and you feel like you're 15 again, because every song you turn around to your friend, this is my favorite song, this is my song. And you know, you don't get like that. I don't get like that anymore, where you like turn around to everyone you're with and declare your love for, this is the best part. And then, you know, it just, I don't know. It was like magic. I think I had tears in my eyes all night. It was such a great. I get teary-eyed thinking about it now. It was that powerful. And like Axl was like right there. And it was just such an exciting night. It felt like it might have felt, you know, 28 years ago, whatever, you know, being on the Sunset Strip again. It was really cool.
This was the tweet that I retweeted when I said that you were going to be back on the show. This is from you, and this was posted, I think, about a year ago. The first band that made me, and it's the emoji with the hearts, heart eyes rather, rock and roll, was Guns N' Roses. I remember the hair in my arm raising when I heard Welcome to the Jungle and the Roller Coaster of Emotions. Use Your Illusion albums took me on when I was a kid. What was the first band that made you feel that way? And that was with a picture of you with a white leather jacket, right?
Oh,
Stud
yeah.
leather jacket with the Guns N' Roses logo on the back. Was that one of your designs? Or is that
No, that is an actual like Wilson's leather, white leather jacket from back in the day with the Guns N' Roses logo on the back. That's the real deal.
You have all the real deals. I love it. So the closest thing I have now, so yes, maybe I was thinking Axl DC. So the lithographs that they sold on this Not in His Lifetime tour, I think are amazing. They've got amazing artists. And thankfully, through the podcast, I became friendly with Arian Bueller, who's done a few of them. He didn't do the Duff one over my left shoulder, which is like Gangs of New York.
That's cool.
And the 3 dates they had for GnR, they had a Gangs of New York version of Slash and of Axl. And my night where Pink came out, it was Duff. But over my right, I usually don't do this. Tell me how you feel about this. I don't like buying things usually from the show that I'm not at. I know maybe if the show was older than me, if it's buying an old tour shirt or something, there are certain reasons, loopholes or whatever. But I usually don't do this. So since I became friendly with Arian, I just reached out to him. Hey, do you have any in stock I can buy off you? Also, I was thinking he's not working now. I mean, he's usually making tour posters. And he had a select few. He's like, you know what? I usually don't, but I'll sell you one. So he sold me the Hawaii one. I've never been to Hawaii.
Oh, that's cool.
And the Skeleton Hula Girl. I asked him to autograph it, and it's 4 of 5 apparently.
Oh wow,
so
that's awesome.
It's cool. It's not as cool as the Robert Williams poster, but still.
It's pretty cool.
I guess so.
And I don't know if you know this. I'm sure you do know this about my band, but the one below it, that you got is that the cover for Lies behind you?
Yep, that's my black sweat hoodie that my grandma rest in peace.
So it's a hoodie.
That she sewed on she sewed on the Lies cover on the back of just a regular hoodie.
Oh, have you seen the cover for our Uncovered EP?
I don't think so.
We actually took the Guns N' Roses Lies theme, and we made our version of it, and it's really cool. So it's just like the cover of GnR Lies, but it's Butcher. We wrote all the little stories and the things. It's pretty cool.
Oh, I can't believe. I see it now. I can't believe I've but instead of Lies, Butcher Babies Uncovered. So yeah, it's definitely an homage.
Mm-hmm.
I can't believe I haven't come across that before.
And it was so funny because when we released Uncovered, which is a great covers EP, I think, people were like, "Oh my God, they copied!" And it's like they copied the Guns N' Roses cover. It's like, no shit, it's an homage.
That's the joke. It's like some people just don't get it.
Yeah, some people don't get it, and I've given up trying to explain things to people on the internet because it's just not worth it. But yeah, that's our little homage to GnR.
And I do want to, because I love how you always comment on my silly little polls that I put up on Twitter about what song you prefer, what band you prefer, and it's obviously never serious. It's just fun talk. People still get offended by it. I'm just trying to make you have fun talking about music.
Yeah.
So I recently did a battle of the Use Your Illusions, I guess. Because oddly enough, if you go track by track on each album, there are a lot of parallels between like the first track or the second track.
Yeah.
You might, whether it just be the writer or the sound, or maybe it's so the opposite. Like, how do you feel about this being in the middle of this record? I suppose. So I put out the battle of track sixes for one of them. You Ain't the First or Shotgun Blues. Obviously, in this case, two very different ones. And you said, do you remember what you said?
It depends on my mood, but I would think that I would say You Ain't the First.
You did.
Yeah.
All right. There you go. And then this one I thought was really hard, but you put three exclamation points to it. Battle of track sevens, Bad Obsession or Breakdown. And
Breakdown.
You did, see?
Because I have fond memories of that song driving around in my car in high school, and just there's something about that song. It's one of those driving songs where you're in your car and you're just angry at something and you just want to run away from it all. And I pictured myself in my head at the time just not stopping the car, just driving away. And that song was like one of those songs that I would have on repeat all the time. And the ending, isn't the ending where he goes, the blue meanies on wheels part, and then you're just like, yeah, I'm just gonna keep going. Screw everybody, I'm gonna keep driving. No, those albums, like, they're both like, gosh, not many albums for me are albums you can listen to like front to back. And those two albums are, and it just depends on my mood. If I'm in a kind of a sad mood, then it's Use Your Illusion 2. If I'm in a happy mood, or if I want to go out and start a fight, it's Use Your Illusion 1.
I get it, and that's how you can tell you're a fan. It's something I wanted to ask you, and we'll see if Charlie pops in. It's okay, because I was curious if because both of you are obviously fans, in addition to having your own success with your own bands. So how is it going to a concert when you're known? How can you enjoy it as a fan? Like, are people? Because I remember it was Axel. I guess it was Axel DC when it was Charlie Benanti, Scott Ian, and Norman Reedus.
And Norman Reedus, yeah, we were. That was AC/DC. So we were all there, and of course, with Norman there too. It's like everyone is constantly coming over for pictures, but
right.
people are pretty respectful while the bands are on. Like, after the band stops playing, we were trying to walk up the stairs, and it was like, but before, while the music was on, like, most people were respectful. They may stare, but they're not gonna come over and bother you in the moment, which is good. When we go out, people usually they may come over for a picture, but they won't, which is fine. I would go up to someone if I saw them.
I know.
But it's just about, letting people have their space, or if they're in the middle of a conversation, or if they're, I think too, like you said, me and Charlie are such fans of things. Like, you can see it in our faces when we're totally absorbed in something, like looking at something, watching a show. I don't think you would even dare bother us, because you can tell that we're really into it, and we just want that,
Do you ever look at it kind of like at all? I don't want to use the word critically, but if you see, because they're obviously Guns N' Roses or perhaps another band you're going to see as a fan, you're like, what, that's a good idea. Or maybe I would have done it this way. Does that happen at all? Because it's hard for me on a lower level just to enjoy radio. Honestly, to listen to radio. Like, it's
when I see a band that I truly love, like Guns N' Roses, I'm so entranced. I don't think about what I would do differently, or
okay.
I don't feel that way. Like, and I think Charlie's the same way. We get really into it. When we go to Iron Maiden shows, we're singing all the songs, and we're, Guns N' Roses, I'm completely enraptured just watching. I don't have time to think about, how I could make it better. I mean, they're fucking Guns N' Roses. They know what they're doing. There was one questionable song that I will criticize. And what the hell's Kansas City Lineman? Is that the song? The song? I was like,
Wichita Lineman.
Wichita. Like, I don't understand that cover. And that was like literally the only thing they've ever done that made me like, what the hell is this?
That's funny, because I only knew of Glenn Campbell really because of my mom. I guess. And she always brought him up because of his Alzheimer's, which is just,
Yeah.
I don't know, a very Jewish mother thing to do. She's like, he has Alzheimer's. Did you see the special? My mom doesn't
You know,
talk
it's
like that.
really
But still.
sad. I actually
I,
saw Glenn Campbell at a 4th of July celebration with my friends. We went to the Hollywood Bowl. He was doing 4th of July thing. And it was just before everything came out with him having Alzheimer's. And he was real off. And we were like, what is going on here? And people in the crowd were making fun of him. And, you know, then it came out that he was actually, you know, had Alzheimer's. And I felt so terrible. I felt so awful. That people had been making fun of him, you know, it was so sad. It's horrible to get older and have things happen to your body that you can't control, and to your mind, and not, you know, be the way that you once were. I think that's the scariest thing in life, is getting old and just changing.
I know. I didn't mean to turn this
No, it's
turn this morbid. No, I agree with you, and that's why I think I like that. I like that Guns N' Roses does Wichita Lineman, and that's coming in with really little to no knowledge. That was the only knowledge I really knew of Glenn Campbell, other than he's a singer, and unfortunately he has Alzheimer's as a soon-to-be 37-year-old man. That's all I really knew of Glenn Campbell's. But that version, and you picking the Ain't the First, You Ain't the First rather. It's like it reminded me of that era of GnR. And I've said that I want to hear that as a recorded version. I know enough with the covers, you know, we don't even know the spaghetti and whatever. But I love that cover that I now have the Glenn Campbell version on my playlist. I'm hardcore. I'm a hardcore Glenn Campbell fan now.
Maybe I'll revisit it and give it another chance. It was just kind of jarring that night to hear it there.
I know. Hey, who would have thought Axl was a Glenn Campbell fan? You know, that just came out of nowhere. So not. But still, we're all talking about things in a world that doesn't exist anymore, it seems.
Exactly.
So I want to know, because you are keeping busy, thankfully. You know, I'm lucky I get to do my job at home. I know you can't do everything that you do. So can you kind of, I guess, first and foremost, update us with Butcher Babies, because I know you had to postpone and cancel stuff, but you know, you're obviously still hard at work regardless.
Obviously, we canceled our whole touring year like everyone else did, out of necessity. We had to do it. Not happy about it, but we do have some really, really cool stuff coming up. We're doing a online festival in Europe that's going to be awesome. We have some big surprises for you guys for that. So it's going to be an hour-long show from us. Which will be
How does
really
that
fun.
work? If it's online, how is it? Is it just like relegated to Europe? Like, is it just like on a Europe?
You can. I think anyone anywhere can get it. You can find the link on the Butcher Babies page. I can't remember it offhand right now. It's like the European Metal Festival Alliance.
Oh, okay.
We have a show that had been previously on release that we're releasing in 3 quarantine-style videos that we've done that are fan favorites. So we're really excited about that. And we have really, really big news coming in the next couple weeks. So everybody out there, follow the Butcher Babies socials and me, Carla Harvey, so that you can hear the big news.
Awesome. I'm obviously I'm already following you, so I'm excited to find out when it's time. You're still, if I can ask, earlier you're like, I have a client. Was that your grief counseling? Was that
so
because we talked about that last time, and I want to know more about it.
It's been awesome. I have sessions worldwide via Skype and Zoom, and I have clients all over the world. And I am a grief counselor and a death doula. And a death doula is like a midwife for terminally ill patients, dying patients. And so that is kind of my passion. It's always been my passion. I've worked in the death industry for over a decade. Most people know that I was an embalmer.
Right.
And I had to quit working in funeral homes because I had to start touring. And the grief counseling is something that I can do that is still relevant to my education, and it just makes me so happy to help people, especially metalheads. And a lot of us are kind of disenfranchised people that don't know how to deal with grief anyways. We're not taught properly how to deal with that kind of emotion. So my clientele is largely metalheads who are looking for a way to grieve healthy. And I love that I'm able to reach out to people, to my peers, and help them.
That's amazing to be, just to think about that on any level, to be like a fan of somebody, whether just like your music, let's just say that I'm a fan of the Butcher Babies as a metalhead. And, as I don't want to say it's I can't cast a wide net. Not all metalheads are, sad or, or angry. Usually it's the opposite. Usually they're happy. But the point being, to have access to you, talk to you. And I just think that's so rare. That's such a rare thing to offer as, again, I know you won't accept the word celebrity or rock star, but as a celebrity rock star, to have that accessibility as a fan, that's insane. I think that kind of access is great.
Too, we live in a time where people don't know who to get the, right advice from. And I think that, a lot of people look up to the musicians, their favorite musicians, they trust us. And I think that if we have a skill set, then we should use it and, use it wisely. And this is my skill set. Like I said, I've been in the death industry since I graduated from mortuary college in 2007. So, I've worked in hospice, I have worked in mortuaries, and it's something that I'm truly, truly passionate about.
Have you noticed because obviously now is very difficult. And again, I'm very lucky that I'm quarantined at this part of my life. Because if this was a few years ago when it's been about 5 years, December will be 5 years since I've had a drink. But if I was alone, still drinking by myself in quarantine, like I don't even want it. It could have been really bad. But now it's I've been in a good relationship for a while. I'm surrounded by 3 cats. I'm getting to talk to Carla Harvey via Zoom. So things are okay for me, but it's not okay for everybody. So have you noticed a difference with we talk about that or advice
people.
To give?
And so what I do is I offer a lot of free counseling for veterans and for young people who don't have the means to pay for it. I also do offer up a lot of free tips on my Instagram page, Good Grief LA. And I also work on little projects with people because, I'm lucky in the respect that I have art, I have music. So all this time by myself, I'm okay. I'm happier than ever. I love being alone and writing and making art, but most people don't have that. They don't have that something to do. So I've been working on projects with my clients, like journaling, art projects, different things to keep their brains occupied, and just creative grief therapy, rather than again drinking at home all night by yourself. Something positive to work on.
That is true, and that's something I've had to pass along to others who I feel that are close to me. That not like I know a lot either. I feel like I've just been in therapy for 10 years, and that's just like how my brain is wired now. Not just to receive therapy, but to kind of give it. And that's why I use this podcast. That's why it was great to have you early on in the show, because it's like kind of the duality of what the show is. It's it's Guns N' Roses and it's mental health, of course, sprinkled with like a bunch of silly stuff that I do. But I want to read a message that I got, which goes along the same lines that we're talking about. Because again, I don't know what I mentioned. I should have listened to the episode before. I don't remember if I told you my entire story, because it was recently the anniversary of it was Chris Cornell's birthday, and which unfortunately is the same anniversary as Chester Bennington. And I shared a video that I made 3 years ago on the anniversary of when it was first announced, it first hit it. So in the video, I said because of Chester, because of Chris, because of Robin Williams, whose birthday was a few days after that, it might have been in the next day. My dad passed away the same way, a year before Robin Williams. So when these big names, thank you, and since these big names, it's like before that, suicide wasn't really spoken about. I feel like it wasn't until Robin Williams, honestly, in my opinion, that people woke up. It's like, whoa, this was the happiest guy in the world. Like, what? Then Anthony Bourdain, and it's just awful. So to make this real, because we could talk about Use Your Illusion all day long, but obviously Slash and Axl and Duff are all deeper people, so I make it relate. So that's why I talk about it. So this was on Instagram. I'll give him a shout out, Mini Figure Squad on Instagram. He does a lot of cool stuff with, speaking of figures and stuff that we have, Legos. So he did a cool picture with a Slash Lego. He writes, thank you so much for sharing because I shared his picture, sharing the picture. I'm a fellow GnR fan, and I discovered your podcast recently. I've been exploring it in these strange COVID times, and I can't thank you enough. Not wanting to be too intrusive, but I'm a dentist. My dad was a dentist. And hearing you talk about your father has resonated quite a bit, and it's been helpful in dealing with some of life. So I don't have his full name, so Mini Figure Squad. I mean, I appreciate you reaching out. It's just like any little bit. So, I mean, however I can help, great. But for you, it's like another level. And I don't know how you find the time when it's this Butcher Babies is full time, your artwork.
It's hard. And
your hair looks
hard.
good. I don't know how you find the time for everything.
It's hard to I limit my clients to 3 a day because it's very hard to take in other people's grief all day long, and I try to be as present as possible. It's heavy, really, really heavy sometimes, and all the time. But I feel like it is my calling to do it, so I'm going to keep doing it as long as I possibly can.
Please, not that I need to even say that. It just says again a lot about you. It's what I said before. Not all metalheads or whatever. Somebody might see the Butcher Babies and be like, "Oh my God, what is this?" And then just see how kind of a person you are and all the good that you do. It's just sometimes that kind of the duality of life kind of makes me laugh a little bit. Is there anything else you want to talk about as far as your artwork? Any your website you want to, because you are
please feel free to follow my art. I was talking about how I'm lucky that I have music and art, and for me, when I was trying to navigate touring life, I started to draw again. I hadn't drawn. I went to art school actually years and years ago, and then I didn't draw for a long time because I moved to LA, and things were crazy, and I partied a lot, didn't think about picking up my pencils anymore. But, touring is kind of, if you struggle with depression or anxiety, it can be a very hard life. So I started drawing again years ago as we started touring, and now I'm a full-time artist. It's awesome. So it's been really cool. If you want to see my artwork, you can go to my website, carlaharvey.com, and check it out. I've got 2 comic books coming out at the end of the year. I've got a big art show coming up in October. So grief, art, music, those are my passions.
And
they all fit together somehow. They really do.
It's just, again, it's just exceptional work. Not only just the giving of yourself, but just your artwork is awesome. Like, it's just, and
thank you.
So it's just really cool to catch up with you. I really appreciate the time because you obviously don't have a lot of it, but you give it accordingly, and we'll keep up to date with the Butcher Babies. And obviously, I want to have you back on again because I know you will never get tired of talking GnR.
Never. Yeah. I've got so many more stories for you. I got to tell you about the time I met Axl Rose next time we talk. I don't know if I told you about it the first time.
How about we just talk about that now, just in case?
I don't remember if I told you, but it's a funny story.
I don't remember either. Okay.
So we played Rock on the Range, and Guns N' Roses was playing Rock on the Range too. And I was really excited because I'm like, now's the chance to meet, my idol since I was a kid. And so our tour manager at the time and I, after the show, we had the passes for the after show party, which is still like it was back in the day. Like, some weird modelly dude comes and gives you like a pass if you're a girl. But we took them, of course, even though we had backstage passes, obviously, because we played the Rock on the Range too, you have to have the extra pass to get back to the Guns N' Roses party. So we go back to this party, and it's all girls and then the band members, and I'll never forget it. It was the craziest thing. There was giant vegetables everywhere. Like, you were in like a Bugs Bunny cartoon, like carrots that were like giant, huge, and celery. It's like, what is going on? Am I on drugs and I don't know it? Because everything is like huge. And so anyways, we're just sitting there in the corner, shy, and we see Axl Rose in the center of the room holding court in his leopard print bathrobe. And there's girls just surrounding him. And my tour manager goes, why don't you go over and say hi? He's your, he's a big inspiration to you. And I was like, I don't want to go over there. I'm not going to be like one of these girls that goes over, and that's stupid. And she's like, you have to go, just say hello. And so finally I mustered up the strength to, and I was wearing a shirt, a Black Sabbath shirt. And I go over to him and he says, oh yeah, I was trying to read your shirt earlier, but then I just realized it was your boobs hanging out of your shirt. And I was like, oh my God, did he really? That's the first thing Axel says to me. And I had said to him, I said, hi, I'm Carla. I'm in a band called Butcher Babies, and we played earlier. I just wanted to say hello. You were a big inspiration on me. That was all, So, yeah, so that was like, and then I was like, okay, all right, bye. It was just weird, but yeah, he was
Right.
a total rock star in his leopard print bathrobe, and yeah. It was funny. I'll never forget it. But the giant carrots everywhere were crazy.
This is why I think I can do a podcast for this long about this band. It's like there's always things you don't hear of. It's like, what? And so they may be mysterious, could frustrate fans, but I mean,
yeah,
you have it any
they
other
always
way.
say never meet your idols, but sometimes you have to. Even if it's like, to me, it's like, it wasn't even disappointing because like, that's Axl Rose. He's like a rock star's rock star. I remember him walking through catering in at Rock on the Range, and when he walked through catering, there's rock stars everywhere in catering, but everyone just stopped what they were doing and stared. It was like, he's that kind of a rock star. So just to say hello was cool.
Have you met any of the other members during your
I met Slash. He's so cool, and he wore a Butcher Babies t-shirt in a documentary. I can't remember which documentary it was for, but that was pretty awesome. I've met Duff before, and pretty much. I mean, so yeah, we've met them all.
You and Slash got to work on some horror project together,
right? He's so cool. I think that we could definitely do something really cool together.
I'm gonna put that out in the atmosphere, in the universe, and see what happens.
I would love to make some art for him at least. He digs the same kind of art that I dig, so
yeah,
I would like to make him some art. In fact, I know he loves purple and snakes. This is perfect for him.
Send that to him. Maybe he'll retweet it.
I'll get it on a shirt for him. But yeah. Right. And also everybody check out the quarantine videos that Charlie and I have been doing together. That's another fun thing that we've been doing. He's been doing, and I wish he was here right now to talk about it. But we've been doing, he's been doing the majority of them, and I slid into a few of them. But some really fun stuff, and it's been so inspiring to be, obviously we live together, and he's just such a brilliant musician. He can play everything. He's awesome. And so to live with someone who's a multi-instrumentalist, you wake up inspired every day and wanting to create. And he's got some really, really cool stuff on his YouTube channel right now.
And everyone is healthy. Everyone's doing okay, because I know this is again odd times. All right,
odd times. In fact, I moved here at the beginning of the quarantine. Like, I was packing up my stuff to move, and then they were shutting things down, and it was very stressful. But I made it here, and it's crazy. So the first 6 months that we're officially living together after years of being together, we're like stuck in quarantine, and we haven't killed each other, so that's good.
So another reason I moved to Queens from Long Island in September. I don't know if you can hear it. Long Island is my accent. I moved to Queens in September with my girlfriend for the first time, and obviously the quarantine happened not too soon, too later after, and we haven't killed each other yet. I've now lived with 3 cats that now I have to get an allergy shot every week now because of it. But
that would kill me. The cats would kill me for sure.
It's my fault. I hug them, and it's like I break out in hives because I hug them. It's my own fault. Anyway, so Carla, awesome. And again, it'll be awesome to speak with you in the future. Update us what's going on. And I know you love talking GnR. But that does it for this episode of Appetite for Distortion. However you listen to us, thanks. Whoever you listen to podcasts. Also, I encourage, since I've been doing more Zooms, as the kids do, follow it on Facebook to check out all the cool artwork that Carla and I have been talking about. So until next time, when's the next episode going to happen? Who's the next guest? Well, in the words of Axl Rose concerning Chinese democracy, you'll see it. I don't know if soon is the word.